Hello, welcome to another part of SLP's Wine and Cheese. I'm Deb.
And I'm Maria.
And once again, we have Serena joining us. Say hi, Serena.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yes,
We're happy
thanks
to
for
have
joining
you.
us. So today we have Serena, who is here for part 2 of our episode. Last time she told us about all of the details of starting a business while having a full-time caseload as an SLP. And today she's going to talk to us more about using the actual how part of the green screen business. So I'm really excited to hear this part. Maria's still drinking wine and Serena's still drinking beer.
There's one
Yes.
sip left on my beer.
Yeah. So, Serena, sorry you have no more alcohol in your home. So, and Deb is still pregnant. So, I got to take one for the team, but I could do this.
Good.
do this. I'm drinking my Pinot Noir. It's very nice. It's even bodied. It smells, to be honest, it smells like wine.
It looks great.
I'm not that skilled yet to tell the taste from just the smell, but I do know there's some fruits in here and some oak and even a little hint, it said, of tobacco oak. So yeah,
Very nice.
I'm into this. This is very classy. I feel classy drinking
In
my
your
red
silk
wine.
robe?
In my silk robe, just enjoying this. So I can't wait to hear more about how to use a green screen while I sip on this.
Yeah, let us know how it is. So I'm eating dates.
Yes.
Ooh,
those are good
date.
for you. Those have a lot of fiber.
Those will get you regulated right away.
Yeah. Well, that is a thing in pregnancy.
Yeah.
And you need those dates right now.
So dates with peanut butter taste just like a Reese's peanut butter cup. I'm not even joking. It's so
I'll
good.
try that after.
Do
Really?
try that. Yes.
Dates are also good because they have something. It's either serotonin or dopamine. One of those happy
It's
chemicals.
a happy something.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then it's good for the umbilical cord.
really?
So it just got folic acid in it.
All right.
Okay, if your baby's ready to go.
Hopefully,
Yes.
hopefully.
Deb is becoming a mom. I love it.
Well, side note, pregnancy diet. If you look that up, very extensive and hard to keep up with. I'm not even that hungry. Okay,
Gosh, it sounds like a lot of work.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's too much work.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Well, I think that it's just an American thing. I think that they just stress you out in this country. Everybody else just goes in France eating all meats and cheeses
and some wine too.
I
some
agree.
Countries.
Yeah. But here in the United States, they're like, we don't trust our citizens. They stormed the Capitol.
Totally, 100%. That did happen.
That did happen.
Yeah, but we're not cheersing to that.
I'm not going to cheers to that, but I will drink now just to,
Drink
wash it away,
Yeah,
So-
wash away the thought about the Capitol.
While Maria's drinking, I want to tell everyone. So Serena is a fellow SLP. She's the co-founder of Play Spark Toys. When isolation orders were issued in March of 2020, the duo, which is made up of Serena and Kylie, a SLP and an OT, they recognized the difficulties that many pediatric therapists were facing during the transition to online learning and had a light bulb idea to create a green screen kit. Little did they know that this idea would catapult them into pursuing their vision of becoming a resource for therapists, educators, and families across the world. They send me a green screen kit as well as a sweatshirt I wear daily. And I love them all so much. So thank you so much, Serena.
You're really welcome.
And so now I'm wondering, and get as visual as you'd like to, tell me, how do I get started with a green screen?
Okay, you ready? This was my setup in March.
Oh boy.
All right.
So this was how I was living, which is, for those who are listening and not watching this video, I taped a bunch of construction paper to my wall. It was green. I did not own a desk at this point in my life, and I sat on the floor. And I had a little ottoman with a yoga block and a laptop on it. And then I had all of my therapy materials strewn about all over the room. And that is how I started doing green screen. And guess what? It was just as effective as using the green screen in my current fancy state where it's a felt green screen kit. So you can start for free or for as much as it costs for a pack of green construction paper.
Yeah. But I will say that the green screen kit that she does send, if you should, if you choose to get it, it comes with a lovely hanging kit. It helps you hang it very nicely, and it is pretty aesthetically pleasing. So not that doesn't look good with the paper.
It looks like trash.
Yeah, I'm like,
And
I
it
feel
is.
like this is giving me anxiety. I just want to like clean
Tear it up
everything.
and burn it.
I wish you had 2 more pieces of paper up there. Not
I know,
that
I
it went
ran
that far.
Well, what's fun about me is I really do like to live life on the fly, and I didn't plan how many sheets of paper it was going to take. So I just kept on taping it, and then there were some glares here, and that's why these sheets are here, because my tape had a glare. And then there's a piece of t-shirt that I ripped from a green t-shirt and taped to the wall here because of a glare as well. So
interesting.
so
Podge
life
of
is
green.
crazy.
Yeah.
Anywho, this is my point. Anyone can start with a green screen as long as you have a wall, and even if you don't have a wall, you can create like a partition or something. You need green behind you. You can figure out how.
You could use a green tablecloth from the 99-cent store. That's what I did.
That's what most people do, and a lot of people don't do this because look at it.
Yeah, because it's your house. That's the problem, really.
Right, it is your house at the end of the day. But I mean, now look at my new setup. I mean, now I'm a fancy pansy.
Wow! Ooh, look at the whole thing. You just did.
This is me now. That was me then.
Mm-hmm. You should do a how it started.
Yeah,
I should.
And bookshelf and a nice rug. This I like. This is good feng shui.
This is my new life, Maria, and I do try to keep life pretty. I've like really figured it out now.
Now, when was this picture taken? Because the last time I saw your fig tree, it didn't look this good.
This is a fake fig tree from Target. And my other fig tree is on its last leg. Everyone say a prayer for him tonight, because it's the last night of its life. But what I will say is there were some really big changes that had to happen, and I'll tell you what they were. When I had this green screen kit set up, when I had my old green screen set up with the construction paper, a lot of the time my kids couldn't properly see the image. Yes, it worked, but it only really worked in the evening hours or in the early morning. But in the daytime, I had a window to my left and it shot a lot of light into the room. So it made the picture really uneven. And I was constantly having to like find a way to block the light from this window so that my picture could be really crystal like it is now. Mm-hmm. So I did that. I got a light source, a ring light, and I also got a desk, which really helped. Yes. A lot of things improved. So yeah.
Definitely. A desk is important for sure.
You look at all these checks. We've got a light source. I've got blinds now, and I've got a nice even felt green screen kit.
Very nice. Loving it. Loving it. So then I have my green screen. Where can I find virtual backgrounds?
PlaySparkToys.com. But also Green Screen Speech Therapy Facebook group. The file section in that group is out of control. There are literally thousands of free materials that therapists upload every day. I mean, I cannot believe these therapists who spend their time making activities and then sharing them for free. It's become this literal free for all page on Facebook, group on Facebook. So that's where you should go.
And then
you can get ideas on the groups as well.
So many ideas. So if you have troubleshooting questions, that group is like, I mean, they are just there to help. Anytime anyone has a question about getting started, there are 30 answers within 20 minutes. So that's the place to be. That's where it's at.
And then in terms of therapy ideas, so like, do you feel like you mostly use the background as like decoration or education or both? Like, is it there to look good and then you do things, or are you always interacting with your green screen or a combination?
I am pretty much always interacting with my green screen. Okay. because it's more fun and more functional for me. For instance, when I read a book with my kids, my books are on my green screen. I never pull up a book virtually. Like I never pull them. I just scan my pages to my book. So I'm showing where's Spot right now. And I'll have my kids say, open the book, and we pretend to open it. And then we've got our door here, and we'll do knock, knock, knock. I want you to say open. And then I open the door, and then we shut the door. So all of my backgrounds are kind of connected and interactive. Even if I'm not physically using felt pieces, I'm pretty much always interacting with the green screen.
Okay. So she just showed us what that was, and I was impressed.
Right? And I do all the pages.
At the door.
All the pages have
their... There's a monkey behind you. Like, I love this.
I mean, you can build a Mr. Potato Head. So I pull up a plain potato head. And what I will often do with these types of activities is I hope that my kids also have a Mr. Potato Head and that they can build it with me. Or if they don't own a Mr. Potato Head, I have actually mailed my kids printable version of Mr. Potato Head, so that they can build this potato head during sessions. And if they don't own one, a lot of my kids are really low SES and they don't always own the toys that I pull up. So I just give them a printable version. But this, you can build the Mr. Potato Head. So I might give clues about what I want next. If they guess it right, then I'll say, what does Mr. Potato Head wave his hands with? Oh, I just gave the answer, but they'll say hands. What does he put on his head? A hat. And we build the whole Mr. Potato Head. And then hopefully they have one that's already built. And then when we're cleaning it up, we might say, like, let's put away the glasses, buy glasses, and then and they disappear.
So she just swatted her hand and the glasses disappeared. So this is highly engaging, and it forces the client to keep their eyes on the screen and therefore you. So
exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah. So then how do I use the green screen for this? Do you have this just all, like, you always have that virtual background tab open with the pictures?
That's one option. So you can always have your virtual backgrounds page open. So usually I'm not a school-based therapist. I don't work in groups. I never do group sessions. So that's just my caseload is usually, always one-on-one, unless there is a social worker or someone else who's attending the session. But usually it's two of us, the one box is me and one is my client. And then I will put the two of us in gallery view on the left side of my computer, and I'll pull my settings tab with the virtual backgrounds onto the right side of my computer. And that's what I'm doing with you all right now. So you guys are on my left side, and then my backgrounds are here, so I can easily scroll through. But now that Zoom has done an update, you can also do share backgrounds, share slides as virtual backgrounds. So if you have a PowerPoint, you can go and just share a PowerPoint as a virtual background, which is amazing. I can't do it right now because I'm not the host of this meeting, but that way you can just save all your PowerPoints to your computer and you can just share those and you can enter the PowerPoint. It's really cool.
So instead of having individual pictures, they're all in one.
They're like, it just opens it up and then there are little arrows, but you don't have this like settings page. It's just kind of little arrows so you can click through the PowerPoint as you're in it. And I made a YouTube video explaining this with Kylie at length. So if you all go to our YouTube channel, it's just PlaySpark, and it's one of our videos. It's called Using PowerPoint as Virtual Backgrounds, and that has been a game changer for real.
I'll link it in the show notes. It's in the show notes as we speak.
Perfect.
Right. I had just got your Under the Sea PowerPoint, so that's a free one. So I was like, let me try this out. I love samples, and
so
I'm excited to look into try that. And
you gotta try
so much. Yeah, I'm gonna sing the song Under the Sea. Of
course, you have to.
I get into it.
You should.
Yes.
So that brings me to this question. So which video conferencing platforms allow the use of a green screen?
Well, none as good as Zoom. So what I recommend doing is, if you're using a different platform that's not Zoom, which a lot of people are, is you can still do green screen. So before, I was seeing kids pretty much half Zoom, half Google Meet. And what I would do is turn off my Google Meet camera and then just screen share my Zoom window. And the kids never knew the difference. And I was able to still use green screen. The only issue is if my kids did not have really great broadband and it was slow a little bit for them. So some of my kids, like I said, are really low SES, so their families were actually using data plans on their phone. That does not really work so well with having to use Google Meet, and then screen sharing to Zoom. It was kind of complicated to do that. But if they have a pretty strong Wi-Fi access, then you should be good to go.
That's a great tip. I never would have thought of that. So you just turn off your Google Meet camera and then you screen share your Zoom platform so that.
Yes. And there's two options with Google Meet. It'll say screen share a window or screen share entire screen, and you have to click window. Otherwise, your kids will be able to see the settings tab. So you just click the window that is the Zoom window, and you already have to have your settings tab open. So that way you have an option of which window you're picking, and they're two different windows. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Because I use Google Meet, and there's the option share whole screen or share a window.
Window, right.
Share a window.
Share a window.
And you already have your settings open prior to sharing.
Because then if you don't do that and you share the window, it becomes connected to the Zoom window. But if they're separated from the beginning, you can do that.
All right, good. So that's troubleshooting if you guys run into that issue.
Yes.
That's a good tip. So why would you tell an SLP to use a green screen in teletherapy?
I would really tell them, just try it once and you'll have the answer, because it is so interactive. And I believe it is much less about, yes, a big piece of it is child engagement, but it is also your enjoyment. As a therapist, we do better therapy when we are having more fun and when we are having more creative liberty. And when green screen is introduced, I am able to target more goals. I'm able to think a little bit more on the fly, which makes better therapy. So it's not that not using green screen doesn't do that. I think you still could, but I think for a lot of us who were not naturally teletherapists and kind of got thrust into this, it's just a really nice way to feel familiarized, like you're back in the therapy room, and it just kind of feels like the same, almost. Different, but sometimes even better.
Yeah, less effort, right? Less physical effort.
Yeah, like I'm not crawling. I don't have rug burn at the end,
Great. That's always a good thing. I'll cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers to no rug burn, because I always have rug burn.
I did not get rug burn.
I really am a very active therapist.
Yeah.
A thing I don't miss about when I used to do home care was always taking my shoes on and off. And if you ever had Hunter rain boots, those things were like, I actually sold mine on eBay. Like they're so hard to get off your feet. And you're like,
my feet would often smell bad because of the shoes that I was wearing, and I would take them off entering a home, and I would just be like, all they're going to remember is that this lady came in and had terrible smelling feet, rubbed them all over the carpet and left.
Yeah. I hated when I would accidentally wear shoes like flats and then I'd be in someone's house barefoot and I'm like, ugh.
Those are the worst days. I really did find a nice shoe balance, and I feel like I really figured it out. But at the beginning,
a tip for anyone who's still doing home care: keep an extra pair of socks in your
bag. Keep your socks. Use odor eaters if you have smelly feet. That powder is like, it really works.
Well, I do not miss home care because my least favorite part was getting out of the house. That was hard.
Do you have a hard time transitioning, Deb?
I have a hard time having people stop talking to me, and then I also have a hard time unlocking doors.
Me too,
So by the time it's time for me, I'm like, I'm out. It's time to go. I'm like, I can't even get out. There's like
I'll be
4
honest,
locks.
Home care for me is my jam, and I absolutely love it. But when I was seeing kids in person in homes, it could never be less than an hour, because I cannot end a conversation. Like there's something happening to me and I cannot end the conversation. I can't even jingle my keys. Like I would try and I'd be like, that's rude. And I really but luckily when I would co-treat with Kylie, she was like, time to go. She'd be out the door and I'd be like, that's a really nice costume. Oh my gosh.
I need her in my life.
I know. She'd be like, get out of the house. What are you doing?
Why
are you still chatting?
It's too hard. People keep talking to me.
Yeah. And we want to listen as SLPs. You want to listen too, especially if it's like the parent and they're like,
they're chatting.
They're chatty, and then they want to like know about like, oh, where'd you get your shoes from? And you're like, I gotta go.
And now suddenly we're talking about a dentist appointment, and like I have some insight, and now we're here for too long. Yeah.
It's hard. So everyone's stick to teletherapy and green screens as long as you can. Can you show us maybe one or two more activities that you've done in teletherapy?
Sure. Let me show you the classic, the one that we all absolutely love. Everybody loves this. It's the bubble blowing. So
Ooh.
what I love about this activity is it's a really good way to get deep breath for my kids when they're getting a little too stimulated. So a lot of my kids, I really do specialize and work with kids who are autistic, and I often, one thing that you have to keep in mind when you're doing green screen is it can be really stimulating and really exciting, but also it can be overstimulating and you kind of need to chill it down. So if you're doing a lot of really interactive activities, I'll often like alternate them with a calming activity, and bubble blowing is a really good one. So but it can also be overstimulating, depends on your kid. I have one kid who literally cannot
stop stimming off of your screen, right?
Like, yeah, all in. But what's great about this is
already.
if you have your bubble wand, let's pretend I have a bubble wand and I'm holding it up to the webcam. I'll have my kid take a deep breath and blow into the camera. And as they blow, bubbles show up, and then we'll work on popping or counting. So we'll pop, 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 pop until they're gone. And then we'll do it, I'll say, let's do it 3 more times. So we're just gonna get deep breaths here and kind of chill. So I love bubble blowing. It's just a classic green screen. It was one of the very first ones that I drew these bubbles, you guys, first of all.
Wow.
I drew that on Procreate.
Yeah, Procreate's amazing. I draw all my stuff on there now.
I learned this from a YouTube tutorial about how to draw bubbles, and oh my gosh, I got so obsessed with drawing bubbles. But anyway, I drew these bubbles, and I'm very proud of them.
Yeah,
we drew them, and now you can pop them. So this is just one of the activities that I love, but let me show you another one. This is not a play spark. This is more of if you use super simple songs on YouTube, I like to take screenshots of my super simple songs, screenshot them, and then put them as virtual backgrounds and do the songs. So if we were doing 5 little ducks, I pull up the first part, so there's 5 little ducks, and then we'll sing the song. Mama duck said quack, 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 but only how many came back? And I like this so much more than the YouTube videos because no ads. I know there are ways to embed it into a PowerPoint to avoid ads, but there's so much when I share a YouTube video, it usually goes south for me because my kids want, like, I'm having to pause it where I want to make sure that they're imitating. But when I do this, I have full control over how the rate of the song, how we're going to sing the song, how to modify the song. So I highly recommend taking screenshots of your YouTube songs, putting them on the green screen.
Yeah, and singing them together. And I really like that because I'm a big fan of YouTube, and this makes a lot of sense because a lot of times it's hard to like pause and then get them to say it, and then the video's like still playing and you're like, oh wait, let's rewind that, and it gets a little hairy, I guess we could say.
It can get a little hairy.
So yeah. So which population would you say using a green screen is best for?
Originally I would have said preschool. But now I think I'm really going to change that answer because obviously having worked with Kylie sees kids, adolescents, and adults and uses the green screen with all. So she has been able to do like community interventions. So she'll pull up a grocery store and let's say we need to get milk. Am I in the right aisle? Am I in the wrong aisle? Who do we need to ask? Working through community, just scenarios. That's a really good thing that you can do with the green screen. It feels really interactive with the background. You can also just pull up worksheets. So you can do school age kids and pull up your worksheets and use those as backgrounds. I really think it's just another tool for engagement on teletherapy. So any age, any group.
Good. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like that to me as well.
I think for any group.
Yeah.
Age. Yeah.
So then, we are finally up to our tips and tricks. I can't talk anymore. Pregnancy took my fluency away. I used to pride myself on my fluency.
Tips or tricks?
Yeah, I think also because my diaphragm is up at my boobs now. It's just like I can't be fluent.
But your face is glowing and you look so beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, so in this segment, we like to give practical life and therapy advice to listeners, just like anything that can be easily applied to life or therapy just as soon as tomorrow, with little to no prep. So Who wants to go first? I vote Maria.
I knew it. She was going to vote for me. Well, my tip is to drink alcohol. No, I'm just kidding. My tip.
Well, I can't do that.
Right. So
I can't do that
therefore,
tomorrow.
Can't do that tomorrow. So therefore, I'll give you another tip.
Thank you.
My tip, I'm thinking. Hold on. What kind of tip? Well, I'm in person, so I'll I'm going to give a tip for in-person sessions. So my tip is to use this very cool website. It's called Online Timers. I'll put the link in the show notes. And they have really cool timers. And they could pick like a robot, or they could pick like canoeing, and you can pull up a really cool timer as a good way to structure your session.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool, the website. So, yes. So I recommend to use the app. Oh, Online Stopwatch. And they have like a rocket timer or like a jetpack timer. So let them pick the timer.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.
All right. And then, so Serena, do you have a tip or a trick that you can give to the listeners?
I don't know if this is a tip. It's more like general advice. If you're an early SLP, don't make your goals so specific. That's all I want to say. Make them more general so that you can work. I think that this is totally just a vague statement, but I really was looking back at some old videos of myself in therapy, as one does in COVID when you're reflecting on the past. And man, when I was a younger therapist, I really had some very specific goals, but it really limited my therapy in a lot of ways, especially for play-based goals. Like, I don't know. I just feel like loosen up a little bit and go with the flow, and your therapy sessions will be just as effective and maybe even more so.
I like that tip.
Yes. I mean, I guess be specific enough so that you can know what you're targeting, but that's it. But don't drive yourself crazy beyond that.
Mine were so specific. I mean, I'm talking like ridiculous, like a goal that you really can't target because the opportunities for this goal to arise are not likely. So like, I would have just bizarre goals, and I watch those videos and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like creating a completely non-natural environment to make this child do this goal that I created that was very specific. That makes no sense. But also make sure that you get Deborah's coloring books. Those books have changed my life.
Wow.
I use them. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. I rely so heavily on my coloring books. They are my therapy.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
I'm serious, Deb. I love my coloring books. I use them constantly. My kids know them so well. And I actually took a video of my kid last week because he said, and I couldn't get him to say it again. He said, I don't want to do iPad. I want the coloring books.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't like the iPad. He'd rather do the coloring book, the whole thing.
Cheers to your coloring book.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean,
books.
Because they were essentially created by kids, and I think that's why. And because the beginning I drew them by hand, everyone's like, "Did you do that?" And they even ask people. People tell me that all the time every time they use that. So I think kids like that. I think that my newest book is too nice, and kids won't like it as much because it looks too like careful. It's better when I just like draw and I'm not that careful.
I'll let you know. Deb.
All right,
yeah. I'm going to use it.
Well,
too.
you both have, I sent it to Serena. I didn't send it to Maria yet. The first pages that I've completed. So
I think they look great personally.
Me, same here. But
Thank you.
do remember using the coloring books, like one of your like first or second one. And one of my students was like, did you draw them? And I'm like, no, my friend did. And she
That's what I say. My friend did.
Yeah. I'm like, my friend did. I'm not this talented.
I look back and I cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope people don't start complaining that they bought these. But thank you. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
You know why I really love them? Because they work so well. Yes, like I don't really do a ton of phonological processing, just a little bit. But most of my kids that we're working on play-based intervention. So what's crazy is those, I can actually use them though. Like I'll pull out, I'll just let my kid pick a letter and we end up doing, a crazy imagination game with the letter P, and what would this character say and what would this character do, and my kids love to pick a letter and just play. So it
That's
doesn't all, I mean, it has multiple functions.
And I would use pages like that, like if they were already good at it and we weren't targeting it, I would just still use it because it was like, okay, so this is just like something they're good at, and then the next page will do something that they're actually targeting. But it just like maintains confidence.
Absolutely. It really does. They love it. And a lot of my kids, once they finished one sound, they want to always go back to that page and do it again. So, you know, if we've mastered K, you can pull out the K and C pages. We'll just do them because you're so good at them now.
Yeah.
It's like, why not?
Yeah.
Reinforcement.
Yeah.
So, Deb, do you have a tip or trick?
I do, and I'm going to talk about this at the South Carolina Speech and Hearing Association on Friday, February 12th. I don't know when this episode's coming out, so we don't know when. But it's about autonomy, and basically it's just like something I'm going to talk about. And it's just like, you know, as human beings, we just innately want to have some control over our lives. And so that's why I like to ensure that if I am doing therapy, I'm giving the kids some type of autonomy, whether it means that they make a choice of what they're doing, or
pick what timer. Pick the timer.
Or I pick up, like, I pull up either a PDF of a coloring page, and if they're using Zoom, I let them color it in, and I do the tip of use the highlighter instead because the coloring actually colors on top of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just give your kids some type of autonomy. Like, let them show you a toy, let them talk to you for a little bit too long about
Do you
something.
feel like that's partially like just what giving up the control? That's the therapy tip that I really feel like everyone, you got to give it up and let your kid run with it a little.
Because it's hard to be a kid. You're just controlled all day. It's like you pee when they say, you eat what they say.
We're like, no, not that. No.
Do it this way.
I know.
Not time for that.
Sometimes I feel like a kid, don't you guys?
I don't even know how I'm 32 years old. I'm like, I don't even know how that happened, but I don't feel like it.
Sometimes you just feel like there are so many rules. Can I just
too many rules?
Eat this cake without cutting it and just eat it in my car?
Yeah, 100%.
Why can't I buy a birthday cake even though it's no one's birthday? I want one.
Yeah, you should do that.
What are the rules?
There aren't any.
There aren't any.
Especially in quarantine. You can just get cake.
And I never have, and I still haven't.
Well, you go get a cake. That's the real advice.
Yes.
And look, and he's here.
And she has a shark. She's showing us a shark. That's like a scary version of baby shark. It's like, that's like a scary
I know.
Shark.
He's a problem shark.
He's a problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
All of my little characters have personalities, and this one is a problem. This one is a problem. This is a grumpy octopus.
Oh.
Yeah,
this goes with your underwater
background. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I gotta get that one. Everyone, go check that underwater background out.
You don't need a green screen. You can just pull it up on your iPad, really.
Right. There's so many different options.
And so to start simple, and then you'll see the results and see how great and fun it is, and then you'll be more motivated to use it as well.
100%.
And then, Serena, do you have a quote or a mantra to leave us with? Another one? I didn't tell you needed to. I think it should be eat cake.
Yeah, eat cake when you want it.
Eat cake whenever you want it. Go get a cake.
Go get it. Nobody's opinion matters.
That's right.
That's a good one.
That's good. I like that one.
No one's opinion matters.
And I encourage anyone to get cake this week and post a picture of it and tag us in it.
Oh my, if you do, I'll be so mad that I haven't gotten a cake yet.
Well, you better go get a cake so you can participate.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And on that note, that's been our episode of SLP's Wine and Cheese. Please tune in every Monday. We'll have new episodes posted. You can listen on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Please review us on iTunes. We love reading those reviews and appreciate your support. Thanks, everybody.
Yes. Good night.
Leave a review.